nothing beats having on some lo-fi hip-hop in the background while relaxing or studying. Lo-fi stands for low fidelity, referring to the degraded sound quality and artifacts of old-school samplers, vinyl records, and cassettes. In this tutorial, you'll find out how to make dusty and nostalgia-inducing beats in Soundation's online studio right in your browser. You can also grab this project for free by following the link in the description. Let's get started. A common practice in lo-fi hip-hop is sampling old jazz records. Sampling is when you take a snippet of a song and recycle it to make something new. However, it's not legal to take other people's songs without permission. There is a legal alternative though: royalty-free loops and samples. And there are a ton of those here in the Soundation library. If you don't want to use samples, don't worry, I will show you other options later. If we press this button, we can filter the samples after instrument and genre. Most lo-fi beats use guitar or piano, which would be under keyboards, so let's choose those. And since we're making jazzy hip-hop, we can choose jazz and hip-hop. Let's listen to a few and see what we like. I'll go with this guitar loop. Drag in the sample of your choice and a channel will automatically be created for you. Whatever the tempo of the sample is, put that in here. In my case, it's 70 BPM. This will make sure the sample and project are running at the same tempo. Lo-fi hip-hop usually has a tempo around 60 to 90 BPM, so keep that in mind while browsing the samples. Also, take notice of what the key is. You'll need to know this later on. This one is in D minor. You can leave the sample as it is, or you can flip it. Flipping a sample means to customize it to your own liking. I want to chop it up with the scissor tool and rearrange it a bit. This is about trial and error, so I'll fast forward until I have something that I like. If you want to learn more about how to do this, check out our How to Customize Loops tutorial. This is what I came up with. You could continue this way to add drums and other instruments, but I want to show you different methods. The drums in lo-fi hip-hop are inspired by boom bap, which was a hip-hop style popular around New York in the mid-80s to early 90s. One way they got their drums was by sampling the drums from old soul records into a beat maker like the MPC. They could then create their own rhythmic patterns. The Soundation version of the MPC is the SPC, which we can use similarly. Let's start by creating an instrument channel. Then choose SPC. We recently added a new lo-fi drum kit, so let's load that up. Now, to use this, you can create a note clip by double-clicking here. The note clip editor will open. Grab the pencil tool and draw on your beat here. Make sure you're drawing in the right area. The drum sounds start from C3 here and go up to D-sharp 4. There are two drum kits in one, so if you don't like a sound here, you might find an alternative up here. If you break down the bar in fours, you can place a kick on beat 1. On the second and fourth beat, there will usually be a snare, rimshot, or clap. If you click on this play button here, it will turn on the loop for the clip, so you can listen while you're drawing in the pattern. Let's put in some more kicks. Next up is the hi-hat. I prefer the second hi-hat. I'll just go with a standard eighth note pattern. This is what it sounds like. Pretty good, but lo-fi hip-hop is supposed to have a loose and sloppy groove, and this is too robotic. So let's humanize this by randomly dragging the notes slightly to the left or the right of the grid. Hold down Control or Command while dragging to turn off the grid snapping. This can take a little while, so I'll fast forward through this. There we go. This is what it sounds like now. These hi-hats sound a little loud to me, so I will click the velocity tool, select all the hi-hats, and drag them down a bit. This will make them quieter. I will also add some variation by having every other note on a different velocity. Now I will loop this clip out and extend the playback loop. Now that we're done with the drums, let's move on to the bass. If you want to add a bass line that fits together with a sample, it's a lot easier if you know what notes you can use. I'll use the scale navigator on scaleschords.com to figure it out. We'll leave a link for it in the description. Here's where you need to know what key the sample is in. Mine is in D minor if you recall. So I'll choose D and natural minor. And here you can see the notes of the scale. D, E, F, G, A, B flat, also known as A sharp and C. Add another instrument channel. For now, I'll use this default sound to easily hear the bass line, but I will switch it out for a fat sub-bass later. Create a notes clip, make it longer, and loop it out. And extend the notes clip to see the entire thing. Try drawing in some scale notes and see how it sounds together with the sample. Do whatever sounds good to you. Start small and place the main notes first. I used an A sharp on bar 1 and an A on bar 2. Now I will try to fill this out by using the scale. If you want to create a smooth transition, you can use the scale to connect the notes. Let's change the sound now. There are many instruments you can choose from, but I will go with the wub machine and pick the preset Deep Bass. Make sure to listen with a good pair of headphones or speakers. You might not hear it otherwise. Sounds great. If you don't want to use samples at all, you will need to create your own chords. So let's turn off the sample and add another instrument channel instead. This time, why don't we try a piano sound? You can choose the SAM1 or the GM2 for that. I'll go with the GM2 and the Yamaha Grand Piano preset. Another good option here is the Rhodes electric piano. Let's go back to scaleschords.com. If you just scroll down a bit from where we were before, you'll see what chords you can use in that key. Normal major and minor chords have 3 notes. But we want it to sound like a sample from a jazz record, and jazz chords have 4 or more notes. This makes them more colorful, so we should be looking here or here. If you don't have anything to build on, you can just choose any key and chords you want here, but since we already have a bass line, let's work from that. If you remember, the main bass notes were A sharp and A, so I will look for chords with those root notes. Here is an A sharp major 7 chord. If you click on this icon on the side, you can hear what that chord sounds like. And here is an A minor 7 chord. Those are some dreamy chords. Click on the chord to see what notes are in that chord. If you scroll down, you can also see what chord shapes there are for live instruments if you want to play and record them for real. Check the notes for all the chords you want to use, and go back to Soundation. We can copy the bass clip by alt-dragging it to the new channel. Double-click to open it up, and let's extend this again. I'll delete the extra notes and make the root notes longer. Then simply draw in the notes of the chords. To make the chords sound more like how a pianist would play them, I will separate the notes into two sections, one for each hand. Use the pointer tool to select the top notes and hold Shift while hitting the up arrow key. They will then move up one octave, which is the same notes just higher up. Then I will select the bass notes and I'll drag them down one octave to double them. To make it sound more realistic, I will spread out these top notes slightly from each other. This is what it sounds like now. The chords are great, but it doesn't sound that lo-fi, right? What we need now are some effects. What can we use to degrade the sound? You guessed it! The degrader reduces the digital sound quality, similar to an old sampler or game console. I'll go with the preset Tape Hiss, which adds some crunch and hiss. We can also remove the bass and treble with filters or equalizers to mimic the tonal quality of vinyl and cassettes, or we can even get a radio speaker effect. You will have the most control with the parametric EQ, so let's use that. Activate the high pass and low pass filters and drag them in towards the middle. Another artifact that tape machines and turntables produce is pitch wobbles known as wow and flutter. We can emulate this in Soundation with the phaser effect. Choose the preset Tape Wow for a slow pitch wobble. Turn down the depth if the effect is too strong for you. If we load up another phaser, we can also use the Tape Flutter preset, which is a faster wobble. And here's how it sounded before all the effects. And here is after. Let's add some melodies now. It's a very similar process to making bass lines, but with higher notes. I will go back to the piano and add something. Keep it minimalistic and chill. The piano sounds a bit more interesting now. I think I want to add another instrument for a lead melody. Since this channel already has the effects I want to use, I can simply right-click and clone the channel. And let's change the instrument. Except for piano and guitar, you can use any jazz instrument like brass, woodwind, strings, and mallets. I'm in the mood for some vibraphone, which is under chromatic percussion. I will also add a delay to it. If you need any help setting up the delay, check out our tutorial on it. Let me just delete these notes and draw in some new ones. There we go. To finish off the beat, we can add noise and artifacts you would hear on vinyl records and cassette tapes. Let's start with a cassette-like noise. Create an instrument channel and change it to Noiser. Then crank up the sustain and lower the release to make the noise constant. Create a notes clip and fill it with one long note. Then loop it out. To make the noise more lo-fi, we can add an equalizer and take down the low and high frequencies. And this is what we get. It's way too loud, so I will take the volume down a lot. It should be subtle. Now we can move on to the vinyl crackle. The easiest way to add this is with samples, so let's look in the library. Search for vinyl and look through the samples. I have a couple of favorites that I will drag in. Also make these subtle by dragging down the volume. Now we have created a dusty and cozy texture. The beat is done, but here's a cool trick to bring it up another notch. Right-click and choose Show Master Channel. The master channel is now visible. If you don't know, all sounds will pass through the master. So we can add an effect here that all sounds will go through. Load up the WUB filter. Change the type to band pass, the cutoff to somewhere around 1000 Hz, and take down the depth of the LFO to 0. If you listen now, it will sound pretty much the same. But when you turn up the resonance, the bass and treble will disappear, making it sound super lo-fi. You can also increase the drive for some subtle distortion. The great thing about this effect is that you can easily automate it to only have it in certain parts. To do this, click on the Automation button and choose Resonance. Now I will click to create a few points and take it down where I want the beat to drop. Let's take a listen. That's how you make lo-fi hip-hop. Go to the link in the description if you want to learn more, download this project file, and try it out for yourself. Thank you for watching, and let us know if there is any other genre you want us to cover in a future tutorial. And subscribe to not miss it.